Hi, and welcome to this new section of our course. In this section, we will talk about how we can improve Git using aliases. Then we will talk about some additional tool and some additional services that we can use to improve our workflow with Git. And then at the end, we will do a real-life example of how we can easily deploy a web application using just Git. Let's start with our first video. Today we are going to talk again about Git aliases. We already saw the aliases in one of the previous sections, but today we are going to cover some real case example. So we will start creating some aliases for the most common everyday actions. Then after that we will see how we can improve our aliases using Bash and everything that we can use inside Bash. And to conclude this video, we will play around with the git log command, creating a couple of aliases to show different type of logs. As we all know, there are two ways of defining a new Git alias. The first one is using directly the git config command that says git config, then -- global if we want to set this alias at the global level, and then alias dot, and then what we really want to define as alias, for example, CO in our case, I want to define an alias that is called CO, and then after the space we can define the command. In this case, for example, is checkout. In this way, I defined CO is an alias for the command checkout, and this means that now I can do, for example, git CO develop instead of git checkout develop. That is way faster. The other way of defining an alias is directly edit the git configuration file. The configuration file is stored in our home folder and it's called the .gitconfig. So if we open this file, I can use a Sublime to open this file. We can see here inside this alias section, the alias that we just created a few seconds ago. Now directly here below the first alias, we can add some more aliases. For example, we added the CO for checkout. So I would usually like to have ST that stands for status. So instead of typing git status, we can type git st, then CI for commit, and as well df for diff. Another one that is really interesting is DC. So I use it to call DC, that stands for diff cached. So this will be diff -- cached. This is the command to analyze the difference, considering also what is already on the stage area. Now I can save the file, and I can split the screen and open a terminal on the right side of the screen. And I can show you that now I can do git st for the status. I can do git df for the difference, and of course I can do also git dc for the difference -- cached. Another reason to use aliases is to solve, let me say, lack of naming convention that Git suffers. For example, you know that if we want to list all the branches, we need to run a command that is called the git branch -a. While if we want to show all the tags of this repository, we need to type a command that is git tag, even singular. The same thing happens also for the list of the stashes. For the stashes, we have a git stash list, and for remote, we have a git remote -v. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different way of listing items. So we can define our aliases here. I create always branches, plural, that is branch -a. Then I have tags, that is tag and stop. Then I have stashes. That is a stash list. Then I have remotes, that is remote -v. If we consider also that a repository contains a list of commits, and to see the list of commits you need to type log, we can also add a new alias that is commit, that is just log. I can run now git branches to have the list of branches, or git tags to have the list of tags. This is a better naming convention. So far, we added only aliases that are basically shortcuts for other Git commands. But we can do even more. We can extend Git, creating aliases to execute Bash scripts. For example, we can add an alias to print the list of commits we did yesterday to help us during the usual daily stand-up meeting. I will add a new alias that is called the daily. And this alias needs to start with an exclamation mark. This is the convention to tell Git that this is not just an alias for some Git subcommand. This is a bash script. And what we do inside this script, of course, we want to have a git log, and we want to see the list of commits since yesterday. Then we printed this list in one-line format. And then we, of course, want to know only our commits inside this repository, right? So we say -- author. We can save this file. I can clean the screen and I can type git daily here. And this is the list of commits that I did since yesterday. Last but not least, I want to share with you some aliases for the git log command that I found really interesting and really nice. Everything that I will type now will be available on my GitHub repository. You should see here the link at the bottom of the screen now. So there is no need to be crazy and pause this video and copy, but you can just go to my GitHub profile and then copy the file from there. I will add the two aliases for the log command. The first one is this one. It's called the log1, and it's limited to the latest 10 commits. And then it uses, of course, a custom format with some colors, and also a limited fixed size for the committed description that is also left aligned. So let's save this file and execute it here on the terminal git log1 to see how this log looks like. The second alias is an alias for a graph log. So it's a log that can show you the graph also on the terminal. So I will call this log2. I mistyped, so it's log2. Let's save this file and try now this log2 on my repository. As you can see here, we have all the graphical information about the branches and the merge. Everything that I showed today is publicly available on my GitHub, as I already said. So you can go to this URL and just download my git config.